Welcome to our executive interview series in connection with UiPath's Together Summit presented by FedScoop. I'm Wyatt Cash with Scoop News Group, and we're here today with Shane Kigin, Director of Automation Solutions at Government Acquisitions Incorporated. Shane, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleased to be here, sir.
So I'd like to start by asking, where have you seen examples where automation has helped government agencies improve the customer experience for citizens or make it more frictionless to do business with the government?
Sure. Prior to joining GAI, I was on active duty orders with U.S. Navy's HR Directorate, NAV N1. And that's where I first began working with UiPath software. At the time, there were only a few disparate developer efforts across this huge organization. And I saw an opportunity for collaboration and administrative support. So I gathered all these efforts under a federated center of excellence and administered the licenses and orchestrator platform. This allowed our developers to focus less on administration and more on automation. One such automation effort involved the HR review of sailor submitted materials. These were PDF forms that every Navy sailor would fill out whenever they had changes on their dependents, address, emergency data, et cetera, which were, on one hand, often incomplete, and on the other hand, only sometimes required human review and approval. Due to the onerous nature of this process, the government team simply couldn't handle the volume, and there was a substantial backlog. The automated version of this process introduced a sort of triage by the software bot that could kick back incomplete packages and approve others depending upon their content. It sped up the process, eliminated the backlog, and resulted in exponentially faster service to the sailors. And that's just one of about 20 automations we put in production in those first 2 years of the My Navy HR RPA Center of Excellence, improving employee workflows, empowering them to elevate the mission, and providing significantly better customer service and outcomes.
And then next, I'm curious to get your perspective on something else, which is how far along are agencies in training employees to use automation or take advantage of automation to do their jobs more efficiently or do more valuable work?
So GAI has customers across the federal space, and our clients are at various levels of automation maturity, as can be expected. Overall, we assess a significant opportunity for improvement, but it's not just about training people to use tools. The successful implementation of a technology is, in my opinion, far less about the technology itself than it is about the culture of the organization at all levels. If the culture isn't there from top down and bottom up, attempts to automate will be met with resistance and, frankly, likely failure. Automation can't be considered merely a tool to do more effective or valuable work. It has to be a natural part of every conversation in which work and process improvement are discussed, organically incorporated into the very fibers of the organization. You can't just have the automation people, the they who exist only in their own little basement office. It has to be we. And there are 3 essential elements to the we. First is executive buy-in. I don't just mean approval or even advocacy. I mean the application of budget dollars to a program of record and the establishment of a community of practice or a center of excellence that is promoted across the organization by its leadership. Second is the support of the IT department in establishing the requisite infrastructure to support the RPA program, while ensuring that the leaders of a given business unit retain the authority to determine what processes are automated and when and how. The third element is that organizational culture piece. The degree to which the boots on ground have an understanding of automation through training and exposure, hearing the voices of leadership, seeing the successes that automation brings, and above all, having the authority to be involved in the process of identifying automation candidates and seeing a project through from beginning to end. After that, the challenge is no longer training employees to use automation, but rather handling the demand from across the organization for accelerated progress.
Those are some great points, and I thank you for articulating that. Well, Shane, Keegan, thank you very much for joining us here at the UiPath Together Summit and sharing some of your insights about the power of automation in government.
My pleasure. Thank you, sir.